Charles has stuck to his guns, removed DANGER0US from Meghan and Harry to avoid risks. Hello and a very warm welcome back to our LVT News YouTube. It is funny how things turn out sometimes, is it not? They have been so critical of the institution to which those titles belong. So why in the world would Harry and Meghan want to accept them for their kids? Meghan and Harry have made it obvious that from now on it is going to be Prince Archie and Princess Lily. And in spite of what Meghan and Harry have said about this topic in the past, I don't see how those little children ages 3 and 1 respectively could have decided that for themselves. So it had to have been their parents, Harry and Meghan, who decided that their kids need to use those titles that Meghan did say were their birthright in that awful Oprah Winfrey interview way back in March 2021. But in that shocking interview, Meghan did not seem really sold on the benefits of those titles would bring. I have a lot of clarity on what comes with the titles, good and bad, and from my experience, a lot of pain, said Meghan. In spite of that, though, she went on to describe how upset she was at what she claimed were attempts by Buckingham Palace to change the Jaws Fifth Convention while she was pregnant with Archie, she claimed, because they didn't want him to be a prince. But she didn't seem comfortable with the idea of the first member of color in this family not being titled in the same way that other grandchildren would be, and Meghan suggested that it would be for her kids to decide whether or not they wanted the titles once Charles is seated at the throne. The oft-cited letters patent of George V in 1917 did mean that Archie and Lily Bed automatically became prince and princess because they are the grandchildren of the monarch. But what was so interesting was that Archie and Lily Bed remained master and miss for 6 full months on the Buckingham Palace. It seems like as a part of his plan for a slimmed-down monarchy, maybe Charles did want to limit the people who held royal titles, and I do think the king should have stuck to his guns on that one. It would require another letters patent to officially remove the titles, and Charles obviously didn't want to upset Meghan and Harry by taking such a step. But at the end of the day, let's get real. These kids are not royal. They are growing up as American children. They are thousands of miles away from their British family and their heritage. Both the Princess Royal and Zara Tindall have talked about how happy they were that and decided not to give her children titles. For what reason could Harry and Meghan possibly want to accept such a burden for their kids, if not for the cash that it brings? Meanwhile, the ones that Harry and Meghan have created out of thin air to try to manipulate their fans to continue the fight that they're losing in terms of credibility and popularity. Well, of course they used that lie about racism to trick the public. This unheard of award was probably settled on before the filing of their charity paperwork, which shows that Meghan only worked a full hour per week. It's just like the Kennedy Award. It was given before Harry went on international TV and said, "Oh, actually never mind. We never said the royal family was racist." That award was given to them for supposedly fighting structural racism within the royal family, and you know what? After Harry came on TV and said that they really should have given that award back. And this is coming from their own tax forms. Meghan has only worked an hour a week. The thing is, you cannot buy respect. I don't care how much money you have, and you also cannot buy credibility. You can't expect people to respect you when the only thing that you put out is narcissism. Meghan is not a nice person in a story, and even in photos you can tell she's not a nice person. She simply does not come across as somebody respectable or relatable. The energy you put out is what you're going to get back. And their PR team through their paid circuits like Harper and Ellen people wrote that this never happened, but even Harry wrote that indeed it did. People who are so self-absorbed and narcissistic simply do not deserve awards. I mean, giving Meghan Markle or allowing her to buy awards for her ego and trying to buy legitimacy and acceptance into a better space in her desire to be seen in the same light as Princess Catherine is never going to work. It only makes her look more like a narcissist. Abraham Lincoln once said, "You can fool all of the people some of the time, and you can fool some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all of the time." There are always going to be some people who accept Meghan's nonsense. The most people can see right through her and also her husband. This homeless is just getting exhausting. Everybody knows it's phony, just like Meghan Markle's supposed contribution to society. The only thing she really needs to do is look at the service of Jimmy Carter, former U.S. President. Now there, if you want to get a lesson in unselfishness and how to be a good person, that right there can teach you a thing or two. I mean, how many times did he fall? How many times was he bruised and battered, but he still showed up to build houses for his organization Habitat for Humanity. Even in his 90s, he was still working to build homes, but Meghan couldn't even complete a tour without taking a little break or whining that nobody asked if she was okay. And I'm sure Meghan gave some money in order to be nominated and definitely to win. That's the thing with these fake awards. Though nobody knows how the selection or nomination procedure really works, and who's on the panel of judges, and who does the voting, and how many votes is it required to constitute a clear winner. It's all very behind the scenes and purposely opaque. I don't see any transparency in any of this. But I guess all that matters as Maggie gets to go out there and buy herself a new ill-fitting dress. She got some new shoes. She can buy a new spray tan and some new bronzer. She can wear those blood diamonds and show off to anyone unfortunate enough to be in her vicinity. There are going to be cameras there, and we all know how much Meghan loved the lens pointing in her direction. She'll be out there with that Cheshire Cat brand on her face and bragging. I mean, these are really all of Meghan's favorite things after all. So let's talk about the status of the Gracie Awards. I'm a woman and I'm an American, and I never heard of the Gracie Awards until I heard about Meghan getting one. It is simply not uncommon for these kind of humanitarian awards to show up in the US, and usually they are created by private companies or rich people who want to give themselves some good press or as a part of some type of marketing employee. In other words, they don't mean a thing. And often these awards come from organizations that charge a membership fee once a year. They'll buy a $20 trophy and hold an award gala so they can justify their dues. And in the case of the Gracie Awards, you can also be a member of an organization for $185 a year. We don't pay much attention to these kinds of awards because most people know that they're fake. So could skin color have anything at all to do with it? Well, definitely not. There are just as many fake awards in the African American, Latin American and aging American communities as there are the white communities. And I think it's time for a change. I think American culture has reached maximum saturation with this kind of celebrity garbage. We're just fed up with this stuff. Self-appointed celebrity know-it-all influencers are old model, and you know what? That old model doesn't work anymore. It doesn't serve anybody except the celebrities themselves. It's time for a change. And I think most people are rising up to this nonsense, and we can see right through it, and we're tired of it. Now, I see celebrities in the same league as the oppressors and the dumb-downers. It all boils down to marketing and advertising and branding and the profit motive. It has nothing to do with the advancement of humankind. I am so sick with all these self-aggrandizing and navel-gazing awards and awards shows that are produced by the narcissistic media trade. It looks like these media circuses have become the new reality to me. It's just like something that in 1984. And do you agree with US? Please tell me your opinion below in the comment section. If you think my video was helpful, don't forget to like and share it with anyone else who would enjoy it, and please subscribe to our LVT News YouTube channel to get more updates from our team. Thank you so much for tuning in. Goodbye, and I'll be back to see you